Very good question about the wash lights and the colors. So let me explain what my setup is here. First of all, let's take a look at the fixtures. My wash lights that I'm using for color I have here. And if we look at the channels, you can see that there's a red, green, blue channel. And then there's also a channel for color macros that I'm not using. The strobe, I'm using the knob on the Nano to control that. On the mode channel, I'm not using. And then the dimmer is being controlled by the slider on the Nano control to control that. Now, what I've actually done is for each of these lights, I've set up scenes where the red channel is on full, the green channel is on full, and the blue channel is on full. Let's take a look at that. I'm going to go to my Functions tab, and I'm going to go to my LED washes, and here's wash light number 1. And I have wash 1 blue, and that's my scene. And you can see I have my red, green, blue channels active. The rest of the channels are not active here at all. That's why there's no check marks in here. But I have my blue channel pushed up all the way. So if I'm looking at this scene over here in DMX, you can see in wash light number 1, and I'll put this so it's actually visible. You can see that blue is up at 100%. Then if I look at the green channel, that's at 100%. You can see that also. And then the red channel at 100%. So I basically created red, green, and blue 100% scenes for each light. I did the same thing for wash light number 2. Blue up full, green up full, and then red up full. Then in my virtual console, what I've done is attach these buttons to that. When I go into edit mode here, and I double click on this button to see what the assignment is, you can see that it's assigned to wash 1 red, which is that 100% red for wash light number 1. And then wash 1 green is connected to that function. And then wash 1 blue is connected to that function. So the buttons are basically connected to functions. Now the slider is not connected to a function. That's actually connected to the dimmer channel of that light. So if I double click on this, you'll see that it's set to level mode, and I'm controlling the level of slim par number 1. And if I expand this, you can see that I've got this slider selected to control the dimmer channel of slim par wash light number 1. So there's a difference here. The buttons are controlling functions that have been set up on the function page. The slider is actually directly controlling the dimmer channel on that light. When I'm in run mode, so if I press this button, wash light number 1 goes to 100% on the red channel, then I just have to raise my dimmer channel to whatever value I want, 100% here, and then I'll have a red light. Then I can add the green. So now if we look at wash light number 1, red's at 100%, green's at 100%, and so we would get a yellow color. If I turn the green off and add the blue channel, I have red at 100, blue at 100, plus the dimmer's up all the way, so I'll get pink through that. Now, just a caution through this. The reason that this works is that the color channels in this particular light are all highest takes precedence. So let me explain something. Let's go back for a minute and take a look at the functions page here. So in wash light number 1, I have blue. I have my other channels selected so they're active. Actually, what this is sending out is red at 0, green at 0, blue at 100%. This one here is sending red at 0, green at 100%, blue at 0. This one here is sending red at 100%, green at 0, blue at 0. But what happens in the virtual console? I'll go to run mode. I select my red. Red's at 100%. Now, this green is overriding that 0 setting because it's a highest takes precedence issue. In this particular fixture, lights are set up so that the color channels are highest takes precedence. So whatever is the highest level signal that they're receiving, that's the color they're going to go to. So red and green, they both come up at 100%. Now, if you have a light where your color channels are being controlled as LTP, latest takes precedence, this may be a problem. For example, I'd hit the red button, and remember, under the functions, red is 100, but blue and green are at 0. Now when I would press this button here, it would set the red to 0 and the blue to 0, but the green at 100%. That's if this light is using the color channels in LTP mode, latest takes precedence. So you would be confused because like all of a sudden the red's gone, but the green comes on. So there's one way to correct that. What I would do is if you're having issues with that, if your color channels are LTP, you can go back to your functions menu here and do a little bit of work. What I would do is just eliminate these channels here. So it would be just the blue channel that I'm activating for that light. And when I go here and eliminate the red and blue, so it's just the green channel, and I would go to the red channel and eliminate these. So in other words, for this, I'm only sending DMX information out on the blue channel. Here, I'm only sending it out on the green channel, and here I'm only sending it out on the red channel, so they won't interfere with each other. So if you're having issues because your color channels in your light are LTP, this is the way you can fix it. You just send information specific to that particular channel, and that would fix that for you. This is still going to work. If I go to this, I can play wash one red. I get red at 100%, green 100%, blue at 100%. So it would work. Like I said, the only time you're going to have an issue is if your color channel lights, the color channels are LTP instead of HTP. If they're HTP, then you won't have a problem with it. It'll bump them right up, and it takes the highest level. So if the green signal's coming in, if it has a choice between 0 and 100, it's going to take the 100. And the blue's coming in and has a choice between 0 and 100, it's going to take the 100. Hopefully that makes sense. I do have a tutorial on here where I talk about HTP versus LTP. You know, if you have that issue, this is the way you can go in and correct that. But again, basically what I've done is these are functions that are being called up that I've created in here. And then this is being used to control directly the dimmer channel on the light. And same thing with the strobe channel here. I'm using that to directly, if I double click this, directly control the strobe channel on that light. It's not a function. I'm directly controlling the channel on that light. So hopefully that makes sense. Now, that being said, I was trying to figure out when I did this tutorial what was the best way to use the Nano 2. So this is one way that I came up with. Keep in mind that you can assign multiple lights and multiple channels to sliders. So I could have done a different design, for example, where, and I'll just say, for example, let me double click on this slider and I can go to level mode. I could have gone in and assigned this one slider to control all of the red channels on all of my wash lights. So I could just click this and I could go to the next wash light and say, you know, control the red channel there, and etc., etc. So I could use my slider to control all the red channels. So that's a possible way to set this up too. You can use a slider to control all of the red channels, all of the blue channels, all of the green channels, and then another slider to control the dimmer. So there's a lot of options as far as you want to control. And that way you're actually directly controlling the channels instead of doing functions though. So hopefully this will make sense to you, but there's a lot of options as to the way you can set this up, whatever works best for you and your particular setup.